Casual Thursday night when you're a Tesla Model Y owner and you have a YouTube channel, you go out for drives in the snow. The snow started coming down heavy, and I said to Alissa, hey, let's go for a drive. And whereas in most situations she'd have no interest in being out driving in this type of weather, we thought it was a perfect opportunity to go and test out the snow abilities of the Model Y. Now, I already actually shot some video of the Model Y rear-wheel drive, standard range, in the snow, but definitely not snow like this. So we went out for a little peaceful drive and taking this opportunity to talk about how the Model Y is doing. Mm-hmm. So, initial thoughts?
I'm ridiculously impressed. I keep on thinking every time you stop at a stop sign or make a turn, there's going to be a ridiculous fishtail. We're not going to get up and go. And I'm just bracing myself mentally like, oh, okay, here we go. None of that. None of that at all. And the more that doesn't happen, the more faith I have in this car operating as a winter vehicle. And we don't even have winter tires on it right now.
That's true. For this year, we've foregone winter tires. We're sticking with the all seasons. Winter's already halfway over, and this is the most snow we've gotten. And it's
Probably
February.
All winter.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Next year, we will be getting 18-inch wheels and winter tires. But for now, let's go out and see how these all seasons do. You can see right here on the map, this is the traffic-enabled Tesla map. And everywhere around us, let's switch to north view here. Everywhere around us is orange. Everybody's going slow. No one's going faster than 40, 45 miles per hour, even on the highway.
Yeah.
So it's dicey out there. Let's hop out and take a quick look at it. Really a beautiful night. A little bit of wind. But look at our nice white, crisp Model Y. It's really only a few inches of snow, but it's all very fresh. I hear it crunching under my feet. If you lived somewhere where you got a lot of snow regularly, heavy amounts, had to get through driveways and that sort of deal, you'd probably want to opt for the all-wheel drive or, at the very minimum, get winter tires. But we're here to show you, if you live in a climate where this is an anomaly, or just maybe a once or twice a year type of thing, you can get by just fine like this. So, brake on, car comes back to life, drive. And it's nice, so many cars these days have special drive modes. You get into a modern car and it's like you have your comfort, auto, eco, sport, and then maybe like an off-road or a snow mode. All you have in the Model Y is you can, if you want, go into driving and turn slip start on. That allows you to get a little bit of spin. Right now the wheels are spinning a bit, but with everything properly enabled, you really can't spin the Model Y out too much. The stability control kicks in, and we're getting a little bit of slip, a little slide there. But
snow nuts, but
right, certainly not high-speed antics.
Right.
But if you just got out and you went driving, you don't need to turn this into all-wheel drive mode. You don't need to turn it into snow mode or anything. It's ready to go just like this. So cruising around this parking lot in a few inches of snow, absolutely no problem.
Wow.
And you can see as the car does start to slide, you hear all the different nannies kicking in. ABS, stability control, keeping us safe.
Great way to describe it. Yeah, we've got a few inches here.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that anything smaller, a sedan that doesn't have winter tires, would have a really difficult time.
You'd have to keep up some momentum, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And that's another thing where the electric vehicle does so well. We're going to come to a stop here, stop sign, completely unplowed section. And I'm going to go full throttle. Ready? This is full throttle.
Oh my gosh!
Yep. So the car, it does not let you get any sort of sideways, any sort of loose. The traction control can be so precise in order to keep you from getting in any sort of danger.
Foolproof.
Yes. Exactly.
And look at the ruts of
Mhm.
the snow that's been created from other people driving in it. Normally those would throw you too.
Yep, I've noticed that this car does a really good job at not getting sucked in. It does its best to fight and keep itself on track.
That's amazing.
Not only that, but the headlights are so good.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's very bright right now. And it's so darn peaceful. We've got the
It's
fan turned
so-
down to 1.
Yes, the seats are all on.
Yep.
The seats don't make any noise.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah, the seat heat doesn't make noise. It's so quiet. You can really enjoy this weather.
Yeah, I'm having a good time.
Mm,
Look at this, completely unplowed snow.
beautiful. It feels as if we're driving on clear road.
Yeah. If I give it, look at that. I got on the throttle, and you saw where I was kind of turning a bit,
Yeah. There we go.
and it's catching. It's keeping itself from continuing to go.
Wow.
So I'm a veteran driver, and I know what I'm doing, but it gives me comfort knowing that if someone who didn't know what they were doing were behind the wheel, or sometimes you're just having an off day, you get a phone call, or you're distracted for whatever reason, and you make a slip-up. This car keeps you from that slip-up turning into a disaster.
That's amazing. How does that happen? Do you know the science behind that? The engineering?
I don't want to make Tesla seem like the one and only amazing car company that can do it better than anybody else. Many new vehicles have very adaptive, very dynamic and capable anti-lock brake system, stability controls. So if you were to get out of sorts like this, even on a gasoline car, it would catch you. The biggest advantage that the Tesla has and other electric vehicles are, for a gasoline car, if you get on the gas hard, it has to actually cut ignition and stop the engine from producing power to the driveline. That can take as much as maybe half a second. That doesn't sound like a lot, but the electric motor can do that within a millisecond. So as soon as it starts to sense slip like that, it can kill the power. And not only can it kill the power, but it can maybe give a little extra power to the inside wheel and less power to the outside wheel. It knows exactly where to provide power in order to straighten the car out. Now, if this were all-wheel drive, it'd be even better than at that, because all 4 wheels could have individual power given to them. So if I were to go like this in the all-wheel drive car, it could maybe give more power to the front left, a little bit less to the front right, and straighten the car right out. Even in rear-wheel drive form, this thing is doing its best. And you'll see here, we're coming up to a stop sign on an incline. This would be a situation where I would be really nervous in a standard vehicle without winter tires. In this car, I know from a little bit of experience now that, again, with the electric motors and the traction control, it can give just barely enough power, and then as soon as it starts to sense a little bit of slip, go, okay, back off. And then, okay, maybe I need to give a little bit to the left wheel, then the right, then the left, and the right, and make its way up the hill.
That's awesome. Wow.
Not only that, but this is a fairly heavy vehicle, so that does help kind of push it into the ground a bit and help it get a little traction as well. Now, weight can be your detriment if you're sliding and trying to recover the vehicle, but if you're just trying to get going, a little bit of weight helps.
Now, when you said that it would give power to each individual wheel, is that something you could feel in that moment? Or you just know that's how the car is supposed to operate?
No, I just know that's kind of how it's operating. And maybe there'd be certain situations like we can feel the car kind of maybe doing a little wiggle back and forth right there. But it's subtle. It's very subtle. Because the idea is to make it so the car just drives normal. So it's doing everything it can right now, whereas a standard, just maybe like a Mustang or something, would be like, whoop, goes straight out. This car is keeping itself straight.
That's amazing.
Yep.
I'd really like to see how the Mach-E would do in weather like this.
Probably also very well. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure Tesla's done a really great job at their engineering. I mean, I can tell, but traditional car makers have also had decades upon decades of experience with this, and with an electric vehicle, they also get those same type of advantages.
Now, this is the real test. We're going on the highway.
Yep.
Traffic is slow on the highway. People are being cautious. The roads are entirely not plowed.
actually really impressed with the stability control in the Model Y. Anything you do, you can feel the whole car with all its different sensors, ABS, stability control, everything kicking in to manage and keep you straight with all four wheels. Keep in mind, we're rocking rear-wheel drive, all-season tires, and even in situations where with other cars you would get sucked sideways and spun out, the Model Y is doing a really impressive job at keeping everything stable. And I've driven a lot of cars in a lot of really bad weather situations, and this is doing really well. You can see when I get on the gas too hard, traction control light kicks on. I mean, I've got my foot to the floor right now. So this car really prevents you from getting into any situation that the tires can do something, this car will figure out a way to do it. At the end of the day, if you're going too fast, if you try to make a turn too quickly, if you get the car too out of sorts, there's only so much anyone can do, whether it's a human or computers, to deal with 4 contact patches on the road and keep you going straight and safe. But this is showing us that this car is going to do its darndest. Whether as stupid as you can be behind the wheel, it's going to do its best to keep you safe. I'm impressed.
I expected to be super nervous with this because we're getting a snowstorm right now, and Charlie said, "Hey, let's go shoot a video." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, but no, I'm not worried at all. I'm not upset. I'm not like we're on the highway a ton. You can tell everyone else is going 35 or slower with their hazards on. I mean, this is not the kind of weather anybody would want to be driving in, except you, Charles. But I'm sitting here, I'm not worried at all. So
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And what gives me a little more peace of mind than that is knowing that if you were to get caught out in weather like this, and yes, next winter, we're going to put winter tires on this, which is going to make it even more capable in this sort of weather. But if you were out doing something, if you were out at work, anything like that, and you needed to go somewhere and do something in weather like this, it's nice knowing that you would be as well taken care of as you would be.
Yeah. The only thing you have to be worried about now is the other driver.
That is true. I was thinking that earlier on this drive of, yeah, we know what we're doing, but there's all these other people who don't. So that's true. You do have people out here. There was a Mustang when we were coming out here, and you could tell it had braked for a stoplight, but it was over the line, and we're like, man, I really hope he's on proper tires. A few interesting things. The regenerative braking is not able to do much because it senses that the car has some slip and it kills itself a bunch. So you'll see here in this meter, it like spikes and then comes right back because it's like, oh man, this is not a situation where I can provide all this resistance. It's kind of funny. The other thing is our energy usage has understandably been horrendous. We're getting 451 watt hours per mile, so that comes in just over 2 miles per kilowatt hour. In comparison, on a clear day just cruising around like this, we'd probably be getting about 250 watt hours per mile. So we're almost double our average usage, but that makes sense because we're pushing a lot of snow, there's a lot of road resistance, and we're running the heat. Alissa and I are nice and comfortable in here. Mm-hmm. None of this is to say that the Model Y is some sort of supercar that's better than anything else in the snow, but it is really cool to know that it's good. And it's good in stock form. We haven't done anything to this car. Standard tires, it's rear-wheel drive. A lot of people have asked us, what's the rear-wheel drive like in the snow? Well, is this an answer for you? Because you need to remember, whether it's rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive, you still have four-wheel brakes and two-wheel steering. So the tires you have on your car are much more important than the wheels that are driven. Yes, like I said earlier, an all-wheel drive Model Y would be even better in the snow than this. But I would rather have a rear-wheel drive Y on winter tires than an all-wheel drive Y on all seasons. But either way, it's cool to know that these all seasons, these Continental Pro contacts, are handling the snow pretty darn well. This will be a good test. We're going to come up. This is what we call a Michigan left, sort of, a little bit. It's kind of a U-turn, I suppose most places would call it. And we got to come up to a stop, and get going again. You can hear the car working. Well, Model Y in the snow gets an A, I would say.
I'm really confident in it.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see a little bit more of the Model Y in the snow, we also shot a silent video tonight. Just a nice, relaxing drive through the snow as if you were really there. And obviously we've got all sorts of Model Y content as well. Check the links in the description for that. We're Charlie and Alissa from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.